All right, my name is John Haro. Today I'll be talking about my environment plan. And for my environment plan, I focused it on the classroom that I was student teaching in, so it would be a senior English classroom. So for the physical environment, I really like the seats to be arranged in a U shape. This allows me as instructor to easily observe the whole class from the front of the classroom as well as any point in the classroom. It's keeping the center cleared just gives me like that mobility room to like go to each student individually if need be, or to just quickly turn and glance across the whole classroom. And the students are able to see the whiteboard clearly as well from this shape. And in the U shape, it promotes partner and group discussion and collaborative work, which I really look forward to because of the many benefits that come out of discussions and the ideas that can develop and the way that students can become more engaged and interested in their assignments and activities. And so with this U shape, it really allows for partner group discussions as well as an overall class discussion, as I can go to the center of the room and quickly bring the students back to my attention for any explicit instruction I need to delegate or just asking questions and promoting a class discussion. In this environment, the main classroom supplies will be located in the front of the class, and this is to keep the center of the classroom clear to allow for easy mobility and rearranging of desks if need be for certain activities. And supplementary supplies will be located in the back corners of the classroom, such as stacks of paper, pencils, hand sanitizer, just any of the other supplies that students may need, and just takes away the need to have to go all the way to the front of the classroom. And around the room, of course, I'll be putting posters of like key strategies and information on the walls just to expand support on the teaching so that what I teach is just being reinforced and not just taught and forgotten. As far as opening and closing routines, I believe that it's important to establish predictable routines, as many of our readings have told us. When we have a predictable routine that students can expect, they're more easily ready to dive into the class lesson of the day. And so for the start of the class, my goal is to ignite and engage. And I don't want to do the same thing every morning, which kind of contrasts the predictable routine, but the predictability will come from the fact that there will always be something. So whether it's a quick write, fun facts, or trivia, or a quick review, music, fun refresher video, just anything that gets them thinking about either what we just taught or what we're about to teach. And the end of the class, it's about reviewing and preparing, and so putting the class back together, making sure that the students respect the classroom and the equipment that is being used, handling administrative work like signing papers for like field trips and such, and of course thoroughly explaining homework and upcoming assignments. And that's just about being clear on the expectations and also just preparing students for what's to come so that they know what they're working towards. And so having that clarity in the classroom is very important. And this is also a good time to reflect, review, assess, or discuss, as Burke says. Just using this time to just kind of make sure that what we're teaching is not just going to be forgotten as soon as they step out the door, but they're actually are chewing on it and digesting it and working their process through it. As far as behavioral expectations, my goal is to make expectations clear on the first day with students and parents. I think it's very important to have the parents involved so that any consequences or other procedures that may come up throughout the year, the parents won't be thrown off guard or wondering why this is happening. I want to make sure that both students and parents are clear on what is being expected of my classroom. And this is all to help establish a universal law of respect. That was always my kind of like mantra or main priority with a classroom and my relationship with students is that um, my goal is to gain the same respect that I'm giving to them. And of course, if they're disrespecting other students or disrespecting me, like they have to earn that respect. And so establishing that universal law of respect through these behavioral expectations. And in order to do that, I look forward to working with the students to develop rules. This gives me an opportunity to see what their expectations are from me in my classroom, and just kind of gives me a chance to like earn their trust and respect as I am giving them some options and some choice, and like just hearing their voice within the classroom. And my goal for these expectations and these rules is really to just encourage challenges and struggle. And how is this possible? Well, the rules and is geared towards creating respect. And so when students are respecting each other, students aren't scared of being made fun of or mocked for speaking up or asking questions or not understanding a concept. And so All this is really just to encourage participation from my students, bolster their confidence in their own abilities, and also to promote camaraderie between the students. And so that really just helps when I do move towards like group activities or projects that students when they respect each other, they're more willing to engage and they're more interested in each other's voices and opinions. And as for the classroom community and just developing that camaraderie, I'm planning on doing icebreaker activities, which I've experienced a lot through community college and a number of them in while I was at UC Santa Cruz. And one that I really liked was students write 3 facts about themselves, and then the whole class will get up, and the goal is to spend like a minute or two per partner, and you find different people that you don't know, and you share a fact, receive a fact, and then we open up the classroom to a big discussion where students can share facts that they learned about other people, and I can even offer like extra credit or bonus points to students that can cite off facts without even looking at their paper. Just like a fun way to get them engaged and up and moving and blood pumping and encourage them to go talk to someone that they've never spoken to before. And it also grants my students opportunities to share aspects of their culture. That's a really cool part about sharing facts about yourself is, students like to share interesting things about them or unique things about them. So this is a good chance for them to express their culture within the classroom. Another thing I really liked was the interest attitude survey, which can be done through a Google form, which is very nice so that it doesn't take any time in the classroom. Students can do this at home on their computers, and I'll get the results as soon as they submit it, which is very nice. And so that gives me a chance to learn about my students and help me memorize their names, as well as gives them an opportunity to ask questions about me, so that I can take like 5 minutes out of a classroom real quick to answer their questions. And so it's just a very good community building activity. And along with the informational posters I'll have in my classroom, I'll also have some that will promote inclusivity of all cultures. And so it's really just trying to gauge where my students are from and just show that this classroom encourages them to express their cultures and there's no need to hide it or be embarrassed about it. And the U-shaped seating will allow like all students' voices to be heard. That purpose of that is just to promote discussion, and so I really want to encourage my students to speak up and to raise their hands and participate, and don't be afraid to voice their opinions. And behavioral expectations, of course, will help with this as well, as I'm trying to promote the universal law of respect again. And on my part, it's to be consistent and fair when I'm enforcing the rules. And that's just very important to maintain the trust and respect of my students. As for consequences, this was a little difficult for me because I've not been in a classroom for very long where I've had a need with like a student constantly being disruptive. When I was subbing, I had a couple run-ins with this, but it was just one day, so it's not as realistic. But as far as how I believe I would handle it, disrespect will be addressed immediately. Respect is like my biggest thing when it comes to developing a relationship with my students. And so in the initial offense, I really want to give my students an opportunity to make amends. But if the student is continually doing this, I will take that time to have an individual conversation with the student just to give them a chance to have no pressure and hopefully just let me know what is going on. Maybe it's at home or a personal issue with the student or even with me. And with consistent behavior at this point, I would really want to bring the parents in, keeping them involved with the whole process, and so that they can understand like what's going on and that I don't take swift actions that they don't believe is fair. I really want them to know the whole situation and also just work together with them to establish a plan on how to address the students' needs. And my primary goal when it comes to consequences is really just to keep the students in class. I really don't like schools that say if you have any trouble, just give them a call and they'll take them out. That's really not my goal. My goal is to obviously not allow disrespect within my classroom, but to promote the students' education and make that of the utmost importance. And so whatever I can to just avoid sending students out or um, giving them like suspension or whatnot, like I really want to promote that. And so the best thing to do that is culturally responsive teaching, and that just really promotes like the cultures of all my students and just tries to promote like the development of respect among them all. And that's it.